नमस्कार। आज मंडे 18 जुलाई 2022 को इस चैट विद डॉक्टर के SCFI के इस प्रोग्राम में जो हम मंडे को चैट विद डॉक्टर के SCFI हार्ट केयर फंड्स ऑफ इंडिया का के द्वारा ऑर्गेनाइज प्रोग्राम में इन्वायरमेंट सब्जेक्ट पे डिस्कस करते हैं और हमारे गेस्ट है हर एक्सपर्ट्स आते हैं इसमें। तो आज जो हम टॉपिक इस आज के प्रोग्राम में लिया है इन्वायरमेंट्स का जो टॉपिक है, हमने इसमें आज का टाइटल है सस्टेनेबल ट्रांसपोर्ट। ये टॉपिक इसलिए कि आज की ये नीड है कि जिस हिसाब से क्लाइमेट चेंज का इम्पैक्ट हो रहा है और हमें सबको कार्बन इमिशंस पे कंट्रोल करना है, अपना कार्बन फुटप्रिंट पे कंट्रोल करना है। जो हम इमिशन करते हैं, चाहे वो गाड़ी डीजल से हो रहा हो, पेट्रोल से हो रहा हो, या जो कोल वगैरह यूज होता है कुछ रेलवे इंजन वगैरह में और बहुत जगह, तो उसमें या इस तरह के बहुत से कोई भी जो हमारे फ्यूल यूज करते हैं या और भी टाइप ऑफ व्हीकल यूज करते हैं, तो उसमें कैसे हमारा फ्यूचर के लिए, जो हमारी फ्यूचर जनरेशन के लिए कैसे हमारा ये सस्टेनेबल ट्रांसपोर्ट हम करें, उस टॉपिक को लिया हुआ है हमने। तो सबसे पहले सस्टेनेबल ट्रांसपोर्ट जस्ट एक बैकग्राउंड में देते हुए होता क्या है। बेसिकली सस्टेनेबल ट्रांसपोर्ट is basically ways of transportation that are sustainable in terms of their social environmental impact, कि सोसाइटी पे उसका क्या इम्पैक्ट हो रहा है, इन्वायरमेंट पे क्या इम्पैक्ट हो रहा है, सोसाइटी में करंट नीड और फ्यूचर नीड को भी ये फुलफिल करेगा नहीं, इन्वायरमेंट पे जो आज के इन्वायरमेंट पे सराउंडिंग इम्पैक्ट है, जो पोल्यूटेड सिटीज़ हैं और पोल्यूटेड एरिया हैं, और उस पर क्या इम्पैक्ट है और इसको कैसे कम करना है। तो इसको हमें टुवर्ड्स जो गोल है हमारा नेट जीरो का है कार्बन एमिशन का, उसको कैसे अचीव करना है। तो एक ये बैक सस्टेनेबल ट्रांसपोर्ट पे इसलिए बहुत ज़्यादा फोकस हो रहा है हर गवर्नमेंट को और जितनी भी एजेंसीज का है। जो कंपोनेंट ऑफ सस्टेनेबल ट्रांसपोर्ट्स हैं, दे इंक्लूड बेसिकली डिफरेंट कंपोनेंट्स हैं। पहला है टाइप ऑफ व्हीकल। टाइप ऑफ व्हीकल जो है, टाइप जो गाड़ी है, किस तरह की गाड़ी यूज कर रहे हैं। वो गाड़ी आपकी CNG से चल रही है, डीजल से चल रही है, पेट्रोल से चल रही है, इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल है, या इस तरह से जो हम मतलब जो है फ्यूचर में ग्रीन हाइड्रोजन पे आने वाली हैं गाड़ियां हैं, को कैसे उसको ये टाइप ऑफ व्हीकल आपको यूज हो। दूसरे जो आपका जो भी ये व्हीकल यूज हो रही है, चाहे रोड में है, चाहे वाटरवेज में है, चाहे एयर ट्रांसपोर्ट में, जो आपका फ्लाइट है, जो आपका जो डिफरेंट एयरवेज में जो आज का हो रहा है, उसमें जो जेट फ्यूल वगैरह यूज हो रहा है, उसमें किस तरह का है, और जेट फ्यूल के जो एमिशंस हैं फ्लाइट पे जो आप जाते हैं उसमें एमिशंस किस तरह के हैं, तो उनको कैसे हम जो है मिनिमम की तरफ लाएं, जीरो की तरफ लाएं, ये होता है। देन सोर्स ऑफ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट सोर्स ऑफ एनर्जी एंड फ्यूल, जो भी आप यूज करते हैं कि वो कितना इंपॉर्टेंट है। जैसे मैंने बताया अभी कि अगर डीजल व्हीकल है उसके एमिशंस बहुत ज़्यादा होंगे, पेट्रोल के है उसके बाद उससे थोड़ा सा कम होते हैं, बट डेफिनेटली दिस इज ऑल्सो जो है वेरी काइंड ऑफ डिफरेंट एमिशंस इंक्लूडिंग दी जो बेंजीन एंड ऑल जो कार्सिनोजेनिक कंपोनेंट्स हैं वो भी हैं। देन उसके बाद आपका CNG पे बहुत फोकस हुआ है, और जो आपका CNG के जितनी व्हीकल्स आ रही हैं, बट उस पर भी कुछ इसका इम्पैक्ट है, कुछ अच्छाइयाँ हैं, कुछ तो इसमें जो नॉक्स के एमिशंस वगैरह हैं वो कुछ बढ़ने के होते हैं, बिकॉज ये नॉक्स भी CNG से यूज होती है, और CNG में जो आप जहाँ से भी होती है मीथेन वगैरह भी होती है, तो उसके भी ये ग्रीन हाउस गैस है, तो उसका क्या इम्पैक्ट है। इसके बाद फोकस आजकल व्हीकल पे है, इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल पे है। तो वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है कि इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल जो आ रही हैं उसकी सस्टेनेबिलिटी कैसी हो, सोसाइटी की एक्सेप्टेंस कैसी हो, सेफ्टी कैसी हो उसकी व्हीकल की, और उसमें आपकी कॉस्ट भी इन्वॉल्व है, इकोनॉमिक वैल्यू भी उसकी है कि वो भी सोसाइटी को एक्सेप्ट होनी चाहिए, विद इन रेंज हो। और उसके मेन आपका चार्जिंग इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर उसका किस तरह का है कि हर जगह आप जा रहे हैं वहाँ आपको सफिशिएंटली जो व्हीकल को जो रिक्वायर्ड है वो चार्ज हो पाएगी नहीं हो पाएगी, ये लोगों में फियर है। तो इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल की पॉलिसी डिफरेंट स्टेट गवर्नमेंट ने अनाउंस की हुई है और उस पर बहुत फोकस हो रहा है, और कंपनीज हैं, गवर्नमेंट है, बहुत ही और काफ़ी इंसेंटिव दिए जा रहे हैं, जो सब्सिडीज़ हैं, टैक्स बेनिफिट हैं, वो सब दिए जा रहे हैं। तो और इस तरह से जो ओल्ड व्हीकल को स्क्रैपिंग पॉलिसी पे भी फोकस है कि उसको लेकर के आप सीएनजी व्हीकल वगैरह यूज़ कर सकते हैं। तो ये बहुत सी चीज़ें हैं, तो ये इम्पॉर्टेंट है। सबसे इम्पॉर्टेंट है जो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, आप जो भी सस्टेनेबल आपका ट्रांसपोर्ट है उसका इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर क्या है टू रन द ट्रांसपोर्ट सिस्टम। फॉर एग्जांपल अभी हमने बताया कि आपको इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल की ये सोसाइटी में एक्सेप्टेबिलिटी अभी इतनी ज़्यादा नहीं आ पा रही बिकॉज ऑफ द चार्जिंग इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, वो लैकिंग है अभी। हर जगह कहीं भी आदमी जाता है सोचता है कि अगर रास्ते में ये व्हीकल नहीं चली और गाड़ी अगर हमारी कहीं ख़राब हो गई अगर या उसको इतना चार्ज नहीं हुआ तो उसके बाद क्या होगा। तो ये एक बहुत बड़ा इम्पॉर्टेंट है। चाहे इसी तरह से ये रोड्स की बात हुई, रेलवे में भी इस तरह की बहुत ही इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर की बहुत ज़रूरत है कि इसको जो है कोल से तो कम हो ही गया है, डेफिनेटली इलेक्ट्रिकल में है कि पूरा जो है रेलवे लाइन सब इलेक्ट्रिकल जो है ऑपरेटेड हो। इतनी अच्छा एयरवेज में जेट फ्यूल यूज होता है वो कैसा हो, वाटरवेज में जो हमारे जो स्टीमर वगैरह होते हैं या और जो शिप होते हैं वो उस पर कौन सा कैसा फ्यूल हो वो भी हमारा एक सस्टेनेबल हो। जो आपका जो कैनाल सिस्टम पे भी या किसी तरह से रिवर सिस्टम में भी कुछ तरह के जो शिप वगैरह यूज होते हैं। और टर्मिनल्स हमारे जो जो चाहे एयरपोर्ट हो चाहे बस टर्मिनल्स हो और रेलवे स्टेशन हो, उन पे अगर किस तरह की जो है फैसिलिटी हो, क्योंकि सबसे ज़्यादा पोल्यूशन जो है रेलवे स्टेशन पे ज़्यादा होता है, क्योंकि वहाँ पे जो अगर कोल वेस्ट अगर इंजन है रेलवे इंजन तो बहुत ज़्यादा कंटिन्यूस इमिशंस होते हैं। और इसके अलावा जो इसमें और सी बहुत सी चीज़ें इंक्लूड होती है सस्टेनेबल ट्रांसपोर्ट में कि ट्रांसपोर्ट ऑपरेशंस कैसा है, लॉजिस्टिक कैसी है, सफिशिएंट पब्लिक ट्रांसपोर्ट सिटी प्रोवाइड कर पा रही है नहीं कर पा रही है कि मैक्सिमम मूवमेंट जो है पब्लिक ट्रांसपोर्ट से हो, जो पर्सनल व्हीकल कम हो। लास्ट माइल कनेक्टिविटी है भी अगर पब्लिक ट्रांसपोर्ट की नहीं, आप घर से आप जो जहाँ से आपको पब्लिक ट्रांसपोर्ट मिल रहा है वहाँ तक कनेक्टिविटी है कि नहीं है। दूसरा इंपॉर्टेंट है इंटेलिजेंट ट्रैफिक मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम है, वो ट्रैफिक जो है ना हो सिटी में कैसे उसको इंटेलिजेंटली मैनेज किया जाए। आजकल तो सेंसर बेस्ड और बहुत से कंप्यूटर कंट्रोल सिस्टम्स आ रहा है इसमें। देन उसके बाद जो है ट्रांजिट ओरिएंटेड डेवलपमेंट पे फोकस हुआ है कि आप जो भी नया डेवलपमेंट हो जहाँ पे सफिशिएंट अगर पब्लिक ट्रांसपोर्ट अवेलेबिलिटी हो वहीं पर डेवलपमेंट हो। तो ये बहुत सी इसकी कंपोनेंट्स हैं। जो सस्टेनेबल ट्रांसपोर्ट सिस्टम जो होता है दिस मेक ए वेरी पॉजिटिव कंट्रीब्यूशन टू द एनवायरनमेंट, सोशल एंड इकोनॉमिक सस्टेनेबिलिटी ऑफ जो कम्युनिटी जहाँ पे जो सर्व किया जा रहा है। तो आई थिंक ये बहुत बड़े चीज़ें हैं फ्यूचर जनरेशन के लिए। और जो हमारे जो अभी कॉन्फ्रेंस ऑफ पार्टी COP26 ग्लासगो में हुआ उसमें बहुत कमिटमेंट गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया ने दिए कार्बन जो एमिशंस पे और जो रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी के यूज़ पे। तो इसको और नेट जीरो का जो टारगेट है अगर फ्यूचर में अचीव करना है तो उसके सबके लिए सस्टेनेबल ट्रांसपोर्ट बहुत बड़ा रोल है, व्हीकलर सेक्टर बहुत बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट है। तो आज हम इस पर डिस्कस करेंगे। तो आज हमारे जो इसमें हमारे साथ में है हमारे कलीग विवेक कुमार जी जो ट्रस्टी हैं, और इसके जो है डॉक्टर रविंद्र कुमार जी जो कि CRRI में प्रिंसिपल साइंटिस्ट हैं। ये CSIR गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया की CSIR की एक बहुत अच्छी लेबोरेटरी है, इंस्टीट्यूट है जो कि रोड रिसर्च पे बहुत बड़ा काम कर रही है। और इसमें पूरे कंट्री के लिए जितना भी रोड वर्क इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर है उसके लिए जो गाइडेंस है और कंसल्टेशन है, रिसर्च है, बहुत बड़ा काम कर रहे हैं। और डॉक्टर रविंदर के साथ तो हमने जब मैं दिल्ली गवर्नमेंट में डायरेक्टर था प्रोजेक्ट में हमने ज्वाइंटली दिल्ली गवर्नमेंट के लिए उन्होंने काम किया हमारे साथ। और जब नए पेरिफेरल एक्सप्रेसवे बने दिल्ली में कि जो ट्रकों की एंट्री उसको रोका जाए तो उस प्रोजेक्ट को डॉक्टर रविंदर ने हमारे साथ हम लोगों ने मिलकर काम किया इस पर, CRRI और दिल्ली गवर्नमेंट ने मिलकर इस तरह से किया। डॉक्टर रविंदर अभी बहुत से स्टेट गवर्नमेंट के साथ काम कर रहे हैं। अभी मेघालय गवर्नमेंट का इनका बहुत बड़ा पूरा स्टेट का एक प्रोजेक्ट है तो कैसे इनको रोड नेटवर्क और किस तरह से वो सस्टेनेबल बनाया जाए। और विवेक कुमार जी जैसे मैंने बताया कि ये हमारे ट्रस्टी हैं हार्ट केयर फाउंडेशन ऑफ इंडिया के, और डॉक्टर के अग्रवाल जी के बहुत ही क्लोज सहयोगी रहे। और उनकी गाइडेंस में विवेक जी ने बहुत काम किया। और उसके बाद उनकी ब्लेसिंग के साथ विवेक जी पूरा जो है CFI में एक एनवायरनमेंट सेक्टर में पर्टिकुलरली जो बहुत बड़ा रोल है, मोटिवेशन है और बहुत इसको आगे ले जाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। और इनके द्वारा जो मोटिवेशन में मैं भी कोशिश कर रहा हूँ। तो विवेक जी जो इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट हैं, एनवायरमेंटलिस्ट हैं, CFI की ट्रस्टी है, मैं उनसे रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि आज के सब्जेक्ट पे कुछ अपने व्यूज एक्सप्रेस करें। ओवर टू विवेक कुमार जी।
Namaskar to all the viewers. welcoming Dr. Ravinder Kumar. Thank you so much for joining this HCFI program on behalf of HeartCare Foundation. And Dr. Anil Kumar, who is heading our environmental division, he's been doing a very good job, and he's been inviting people from various fields, and he's trying to create awareness on different fields through HeartCare Foundation and the viewers, which can help our viewers on various subjects. Uh, See that today our main subject is on environment through vehicular traffic and the pollution. Now the thing is, the air pollution is something which is shortening the life of many people. Many people are taking steroids. Heartcare Foundation of India's our job is to create awareness how the pollution is affecting our health through in the and how the environment is affecting our health, and how we can do something about our environment. As Anil Kumarji has very rightly put about the electric vehicles, and there are certain apprehensions on the electric vehicles, especially the fear that unlike a petrol car, even if it stops on the way, we can go in an auto rickshaw and go and get some petrol and fill it up if it gets happens. Suppose you are stuck in a traffic jam of Delhi, and there is a your electric vehicle stops. It is not something that you can put it in the corner and immediately charge it and do something about it. And this is something which has become a grave concern. And that's why probably hybrid cars are doing better than pure electric cars, or which are more recommended right now than doing only fossil fuel based cars. Hence, this has to be considered. And of course, it is going to take some time for the government to build the infrastructure on state level, where people can be more can find the alternative energy more reliable. Thank you. I would like to give this platform now to Mr. Dr. Ravinder Kumar to express his views on this subject.
Uh, First
Dr.
of
Ravinder,
all,
please.
I would like to thank the Heartcare Foundation of India, Mr. Vivek Kumar, Trustee SCFI, to give me opportunity, and also Dr. Anil Kumar, who is coordinator of this program and director SCFI, and both of them has given the very good background of the sustainability aspect. As we are moving towards the transportation, uh, many of the people might be worrying how the transportation is the moving in the future, how what will be the scenario, what will be the significance of sustainable transportation. What is the sustainable transportation? Many of them don't know how to measure the sustainability. This is the another aspect. Although we have several measurement tools available for the environmental pollutions and other things, but how to measure the sustainability? Is there is any sustainability index there? Can we go for that? What is the role of non-motorized transportation in sustainable transportation? How we can go for the right mixing, as the Vivek sir has told about that the electric vehicle apprehension if there's something happened in the jam, what will happen? So what are the approaches to mitigate? How best we can do? So let's come to the transportation demand. So transportation is derived demand because of business and trades, and it has two components. One is the freight transportation, another is the passenger transportation. So if you see the road transportation, railways transportation, water transportation, so majorly road transportation has more roles in overall percentage. You can see in this graph. So and then we have the railways, then we have the waterways, and then we have the air, and then there are few of them which are service incidental to transport. And if you see the statistics, uh, in 2001 there was a 53 vehicles per thousand persons, but in 2009 it has increased to 25 vehicles, and that's showing around 4.24 times in 18 years time. It means 23% increase in per thousand uh, vehicles per persons. So that shows that how much economic growth is going, and it's because of improved road infrastructure, because of increased disposable income of household, and overall the growth of registered vehicle is around 10% in last 10 years. That's quite significant. And out of this, the personalized mode of transport, especially car and two-wheelers, that constitute about 88% of the total vehicular population. And this shows the GDP of the freight activities in trillion ton kilometer, that's going to be increased over a period of time. Also the freight as well as passenger transport in billion tons kilometer. So it shows that in coming futures uh, our in trip length is going to increase. So as the trip length is going to increase, means it's all linked with the several aspects. It links with the environmental, it's linked with the economy, it's linked with the society. So now coming to the significance of sustainable transportation in India, because if you see in terms of the health, 3% we lost in the GDP due to the severe health condition. Maybe there are several factors. Pollution is one of the factors. Also, we lose 3% of GDP in terms of the accident and death, and that's quite a significant amount. Government of India has initiated many policies, guidelines, reports, manuals, um, but still, seeing the quantum of the scale of the transportation and road length in the country, there are a lot has to be done. Although there are sustainable road design has to be taken, start from the utilization of waste material, improved methods, materials to reduce the pavement thickness, also non-motorized transport, that is essential for the transportation. And we have to see the how best we can avoid the trips, that so that integrated land use and transportation planning, and that will reduce the energy consumption. There is need to shift the from environmental efficient modes. Already Dr. Anil has told about the EVs and other transport, so that it can save the environment as well as fuel. And we have to see the in terms of long-term aspect of the how we can change the mode choices of the people, providing the best public transport system and providing the best infrastructures and land use plan. We have to see the best way of political backing, leadership, and diverse consultation and participations that is needed for the sustainable public transport system. Uh, in 2001, report says that several scenarios shows that green low carbon transport sector can reduce the green gas emissions by 70% without major additional investment. And that if 0.6% of global GDP were invested to boost the public transport infrastructure, the volume of road vehicle could be reduced by third in 2050. So it is something which is the also the mindset. It is something also from the political back end. It is something about the using the recent technology. So let us see how we can go for the reducing the carbon footprint. So as our speaker has told about the different carbon footprint. So see this carbon footprint for domestic flight, and that's showing the travel per kilometer. So it's 255. That's quite high. Means per kilometer if you do the journey by the flight, and similarly if you do the journey by the petrol, that is also coming 192. Similarly for the diesel, it's little bit less. For short hauls economy again, and for buses it's coming less. Motorcycle it's less. Uh, Electric vehicle is quite less, and if you go to the rail or metros, it's very less. And for foot passenger ferries, footpath, so it's quite. So this shows that how we can reduce the carbon footprint from the travel side. So why we need to reduce the carbon footprint? Because we need the sustainable transportation system. That is the need of the hour. And how we can define the sustainable transportation system? What are the parameters involved? How we can measure? Is there is any methods we can develop the index? And what the parameters we can change? That's the planning objective. So basically, the sustainable transportation system is the equilibrium of environmental care, economic development, and social justice. So, something which is coming together in this Venn diagram, so that makes the more sustainable. Means it reduce the adverse impact of environment, it reduce the adverse impact of poverty in terms of social, it reduce the economic, it means long term it should be effective. And also we have to see that whatever the resources are left, resources are very limited, and we have to leave it for the next generation. So that is the baseline. So there are many issues if we don't follow the sustainable transportation system. In many of the uh, report, it has been mentioned that India ranked among 25th most polluted cities, and the significant percentage of which is caused pollution is by the vehicle, especially in the big cities. In addition, the congestion of on the road is critical issue in India. Not only has led to increase the traffic incident, but also the huge economic losses emerging of the time, workforce, and as well as fuel loss. There are cities which have very high congestion, and the ranking are given. Pollution, congestion are the manifestation of large systematic issues, larger systematic issues in the transportation policies. And if you see the emissions from the different sectors, including the industries, powers, residents, so around 41% is contributed PM from the transport for PM 2.5. That is from the IIT report, and that's a significant amount coming from the vehicle. So again, we have to see that how best we can go for the vehicle, and also the road safety is deteriorating in many cities because we have high pickup vehicles and roads are increasing, and there are a lot of accidents happening. So that's the showing the fatality rates. We have 230,000 deaths per year, half of which are reported to be the are the vulnerable road users, motorcyclists, pedestrian, and cyclists. So sustainable means not only the environment. We have to see that how safe we are. So we have to see that also the planning aspect. We have polycentric sprawl continue to present huge challenges. If you see that Delhi means only Delhi is growing, so larger uh, population migration is coming to the Delhi, and then again the larger trips are coming to the Delhi, and that's creating the congestions. So that's the another challenge for the transportation planning, like how we can sprawl this, how we can decongest the cities, and also the last mile connectivity is one of the major issues, and that is the making the problem. Uh, Also the operation transport by various multiple agencies that include the central, state, city government, and they have the different mandate. There is no coordinations, no coherence of the policies, and that make the really and many of the that there are so many e-rickshaws. There are fragmented one. There are cycle rickshaws. They are fragmented one. There are no proper uh, places to park. No, there is no organized sector in this. So that make the problem bit more complex. So if you go through the green transportation pyramid, so walking is the best, then bicycling, then using the public transportation, then maybe the shared taxis, carpooling, and so transport system. We have to see that it has the using the energies and then consuming the petrol and creating the greenhouse gases, and that is the responsible. So how best we can use this pyramid to reduce the energy consumption as well as uh, reduce the fuel consumption and clean environment. So I'm coming to the more other aspect like developing the transit development cities, optimizing the road network, and also the planning the dense and human scale cities, encourage the walking and cycling. We have very good Delhi city, but how many places we have the cycling lane? That's the question mark, and that shows that how much we are sensitive to the non-motorized transport. And also implementing the transit improvement means especially larger passenger flow and controlling the vehicle uses. Like in Singapore, they did the rationing policies. If someone has one vehicle, they will not get the another permit. So that's the control way of vehicle uses. Managing the parking, promoting the clean vehicle, and also communicating the vehicle and other infrastructure like signals and parking infrastructure and intelligent transport system. So that makes the uh, complete solutions when we go for the comprehensive policies. So now, what are many of them are not aware, like what are the social parameter, what are the economic parameter, how we can define whether they are sustainable, or what is if we introduce some policies, so whether we are getting sustainability or not. That again the question. So from environmental side, there could be the several parameters like GHG gas, land coverage, consumption of mineral oil, VOC, fuel, noise pollutions, air pollution, CO2, fuel consumption. From social side, there are exposure or infrastructure, accessibility, safety, security, traffic death, health impact, economic efficiency, car ownership cost. From economic side, we have the user benefit, investment cost, emission cost, noise cost, uh, how much economic generations are going to happen, and then we have the generalized cost for the accidents. So these are the different indicators that has been given by the various researchers that can be used when we go through the sustainable parameters. We in CRI we have developed the sustainability index software, which gives the index based on the some benchmarking we have developed for transportation cost, energy consumption, the environmental quality, noise pollutions, uses of renewable energy sources, accessibility, satisfaction, safety, security, accident cost, GHG emissions, fatality injuries, employment, affordability, household allocations and expenditure to the public transportation, or maybe the transport emission cost, transport demands, and finally we get the transport sustainability index. So again, we inject some of the parameters and create the scenario, and then we get some of the comparison whether like in scenario one, what was the sustainability index, scenario two, what could be the sustainability index, scenario three, what could be the sustainability index. So then we can know that before and after what is the change in the sustainability index overall in terms of different parameters. So you might be knowing that approach like we are currently in Delhi, we have a large number of uh, uh, public vehicles, especially two-wheelers and cars. And if you look into the terms of sustainability, 65 peoples means they needs 50 cars to accommodate on the roads because we have the less road space in the city, and these 50 cars can be accommodated in one bus. 50 cars means 50 passengers can be accommodated in one bus. And again, 60 cyclists, they they will require this much of the less space. So choices are with us, how we can go for the sustainable. This figure shows you how much congestion here with the same vehicle, same person, and how we can reduce the spaces. There are several schemes are there, but still there are a lot has to be done. Now we have gone through the several aspect of the non-motorized transport, but many of the non-motorized transport are not user friendly, especially in Indian condition. So here, one of the studies they have given a special track for the cyclist, and that has the propulsion system in that, and it has the chamber environment which has the air conditioning impact as well as exhaust effect, and that makes the speed up to 40 kilometer per hour, 30 kilometer per hour for cyclists, and that's very low cost infrastructure. So even if we have less space, we can imagine that in the less space also we can create such type of non-motorized infrastructure, and that can reduce the. Right now we are not able to drive cycle even 4 or 5 kilometer because of humid condition, because of temperature, because of safety issues. But if we create the infrastructure like this, of course, with the low cost solutions, there are possibility that we can really get more benefit of the non-motorized transport, because it will give the faster than rail or buses or motorcycle, because it can go to 30 kilometer per hour and lower capital cost, and it has the constant power air movement in direction of riding movement, and that create the air resistance, allowing the average riding speed. And cyclists inside the bike rapid transit system is 90% more efficient than the normal cycling outside the enclosed air flow enhanced system. So this is the low cost, low tech transportation solution to meet the challenges for effective mobility, that offers the alternative to environmental pollution created by increasing level of motor vehicle uses. Uh, Now we are having the IT solutions. So with the IT solution we can get connected with the vehicles, we can create more sustainable environment, we can create more smart things, and here we need to do the right mixing. So right mixing of infrastructure, operations, different model hubs, right mixing of the institutional framework with the different authority, different integrated payment aspect, right mixing of the info system, means in information system. So if we do this right mixing of infrastructures, so we can create the very good model hubs. We can have the integrated ticketing. Right now in DTC, they are using the integrated ticketing. That's a good thing. And even now, Google is giving a lot of information for journey planning. So that is helping for the journey planning for the user to make the shift from one mode to other. And also we have to see that our non-motorized transport, they are not being killed. They have to be properly linked with the linked with the information system. Like we have the one of the example of Fazilka Eco Cab dial rickshaw, and this is the dial rickshaw where you just call the number. It's like a Ola Uber concept, and just dial one number or one common number is given, and rickshaw wala will come to your door, and that's the good thing. Means that's the set of information system linked with the non-motorized transport, and it's a way means to go for the eco-friendly transport. So last mile connectivity also, this rickshaw and non-motorized transport and pedestrian, that helps, and it is the part of the mobility management. And especially even if you use the metro rails, we need the last mile connectivity. Even if you use the any public transport system, so from bus to that your uh, resident hub or workplaces, we need the last mile connectivity. So there are many good example of multimodal integrations. London, they have TfL, Transport for London. They have integrated ticketing system, integrated in mobile information system. They called Oyster Card. Paris also they have integrated metro, tram, bus system. Uh, that's called Navigo Pass. Singapore, we have Land Transport Authority. They have the EZ Link. So that's our web-based, and that applicable even for the taxi. Right now, we don't have the integrated things for the taxi. Hong Kong, they have metro and buses together, Octopass. New York, they have metro. BRT also, BRT buses, local and express buses, they have the integrated card. So here we are go for the integrated ticketing, and that key factor is we need to have the global standard general transit feedback specification. We have to see that all the vehicles are the tracked with the GPS and mobile phones, and then technology play the key roles where we can create the linked with the Google, IBM, Siemens, Cisco, or other many companies which who are working in the IT field. They can come together, and the application can be created for the multimodal trip planning. And once we have the multimodal trip planning, of course, it will shift from the passenger, from the public mode, from the private mode to public mode, where the sustainability comes. Means even if the metro started, then many of the long distance traveler, they were using the private mode. Now they have shifted to the metro mode because of the time saving and because of the even cost saving also, and even the environment is quite good in the metro. So that type of things which needs the integration, and once it is integrated, of course it will increase the efficiency, and of course it will not increase the efficiency of the transport, it will reduce the your transportation cost also. And that's the automated trip planning. We can go up to the mobility aspect, we can go up to the vision aspect, we can go up to the hearing aid aspect. Means up to, if we, this is the benchmarking, means even the disabled can travel in the public transport, even the blind person can travel from A to B in the public transport without any help. So that is the benchmarking where for the any mobility issues. And once we do it, of course there will be shift from the, you know, many of the private vehicle to this public transport. Again we are I'm coming to the how we can go to the shifting and what are the benefits. So this is the graph showing the average carbon emissions by the transport mode, and here we can see the sustainable transport scenario. So basically, based on this carbon emissions, we have created one pie chart which shows that around more than 40% we can shift directly, like trams, buses, trains, or car plug-in or electric vehicles. So once we shift towards these modes, of course we can make the changes up to 40 to 60%, 40 to 50%. And of course there are many issues with the air travel. Air travel has very high carbon emissions per passenger. So again, the passenger trains that gives the benefit of over that. So in the India, we are going for the soon we are going for the bullet trains. So hopefully the this aircraft travels will get the competition over the time also, because the time is important for the traveler. In that case, if you get the uh, high speed trains like regional rail transport authority, they are also coming with the 180 kilometer per hour train Delhi to Meerut, and similarly bullet trains. So these are the things. Of course, clean vehicles we are going doing very well. We have gone to the, you know, biofuel in the flight also, electric buses also, metros. So these are the high capacity mass transport system. Once we go for the more eco fuel friendly, then it give the ages for the environmental sector. Also, India is going for the, you know, e vehicle, e highways. E highways they have means especially the many of the long distance truck will get the, you know, like metro system, where there will be connection with the overheads, overheads, and then it will be supplied with the electricity. So that saves the, you know, saves the energy, as well as it saves the uh, transportation cost. So that is the good step of the government which are going to be soon. And many of the uh, highways, they have created the electric charging infrastructure. That is the another way to promote the electric vehicle on the highways. Recently uh, environmental uh, policy has come for the action plan for curbing air pollution, that has given the uh, very strict guideline for time length, to for the strengthening the air quality monitoring. and abating the industrial pollution, DG sets, thermal power plant, vehicle and transport sectors, clean fuel and electric mobility, effective public transportation system, road traffic management, and control on the solid waste management. So once this policy has come and this policy will be useful, and also in Delhi there are so many steps are being done, especially the Delhi feeder services giving for the last mile connectivity, as well as regional rapid transit system that is addressing the connectivity of the regional area with the high speed trains. Electric vehicle policies has come, electric vehicle fund has been created, many of the buses now are electric, and also the social aspect of the travel, like free travel for the women, has been taken care. So there are many advanced technologies are in fuel cells, hydrogen cells, solar panel based cars. So these are the things which are on the pilot scale, and hopefully once this is scaled up, the cost of the technology will come down and slowly it will scaled up, and this will change the entire way how we think. And apart from that, road transport, there are many things happening in the water transport. We have recently, Government of India has launched the integrated master plan that integrate the water transport with the road. So part of the things can be transported with the roads, and part of the things can be transported with the waterway, because the waterways again it is very effective, effective, as well as the environment friendly transport, and that's useful for the freight one, and also many of the passenger services are being linked. So this is the good scheme for the Government of India. So if you think in terms of the overall aspect of the transportation, we need the sustainable transportation for future generation. We need to measure the proper way of the sustainability, and how we can best mix the transportation with the multimodal transportation integration, using the intelligent transport system, using the IT, and also we should create the more facility for non-motorized modes, and we should make the more eco-friendly trips, and considering of environment economic aspect of transportation, only then we can get the sustainability. So I think we have covered this way. Thank you very much again to Dr. Anil and Vivek. Thank you for giving me
Thank
opportunity.
you. Thank you, Dr. Ravinder ji. Thank you very much. You have very, very comprehensively
Very
covered
beautiful
the
presentation.
subject. Beautiful. I mean, you have covered everything that was the, and definitely with the हमारे जो डॉक्टर के अग्रवाल के जो all the जो जुड़े हुए हैं यूट्यूब फेसबुक से, जो उनके फॉलोअर्स हैं, और जो इनसे जो है जो भी उनकी इससे नॉलेज शेयर जो हुई है, उससे डेफिनेटली बेनिफिट होगा और अवेयरनेस क्रिएट होगी. आई थिंक दिस इज यू आर वेरी वेरी कंप्रेहेंसिवली कवर्ड. एंड सबसे इम्पॉर्टेंट है इसमें विवेक जी, बिफोर जस्ट आपसे फाइनल समरी मैं इतना कहना चाहूँगा कि सबसे पहले जो हमने टेक्नोलॉजी का यूज़ देखा, और आज के टाइम पे जो अगर सस्टेनेबिलिटी पे जाना है, तो पहले तो हमें मिनिमम जो है नीड बेस्ड ट्रैवल होना चाहिए, कि जितनी ज़रूरत है उतनी ट्रैवल किया जाए. कि अगर ज़रूरत नहीं है तो अगर चाहे वर्क फ्रॉम होम से हो जाए या मीटिंग कोई ऑनलाइन हो जाए, वो मिनिमम जो है नीड बेस्ड ट्रैवल हो. उसके बाद सेकंड पॉइंट आता है जो इम्पोर्टेंट आपने पिरामिड दिखाया, कि उसमें अगर नॉन मोटराइज पे फोकस हो, चाहे जो शॉर्टर डिस्टेंस के लिए वॉकिंग हो या साइकिलिंग हो, अगर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर साइकिलिंग का सही है सेफ्टी को ध्यान रखते हुए, तो वो नॉन मोटराइज पे जाना है. उसके बाद अगर फर्दर अगर ज़रूरत है तो अगर आपको लेना है तो पब्लिक ट्रांसपोर्ट, मेट्रो बहुत अच्छे शहरों में अच्छी हो गई. हम तो खुद ही दिल्ली में कई ट्रेवल करते हैं, कार होती मेरे पास भी भगवान की है, लेकिन फिर भी मैं कोशिश करता हूँ कि मेट्रो से जो है जितना आराम और टाइम सेविंग है उससे ज़्यादा नहीं है. पब्लिक ट्रांसपोर्ट, चाहे बसें भी आ गई हैं, अच्छी बसें आ गई, इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल आ गई हैं दिल्ली में भी और सिटीज़ में, तो ये हमें कोशिश करना चाहिए. मिनिमम इम्पैक्ट हमने जाना चाहिए जो कार पे, लास्ट में कार पे. और कार में भी अगर है, अगर जो अफोर्ड कर सकते हैं, जो चेंज कर सकते हैं, या जो न्यू कार ले रहे हैं, इलेक्ट्रिक पे. और सबसे इम्पॉर्टेंट है कि अगर हमारी इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल पे भी जा रहे हैं तो हमें ये सोचना है कि हम जो उसमें एनर्जी यूज कर रहे हैं वो रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी है नहीं. आज हमें इसकी जरूरत है कि कार तो इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल यूज कर रहे हैं, पर ऐसा तो ना हो कि जो हम इलेक्ट्रिसिटी जो जहाँ से जनरेट हो रही है वहाँ पे थर्मल पावर प्लांट में वो कोल जो है हो रहा है, तो कहीं एक जगह हम पॉल्यूशन कम कर रहे हैं, दूसरी जगह अगर हम उसको बढ़ा रहे हैं. तो ये सब की बहुत ज़रूरत है. एक इंटीग्रेशन से ओवरऑल थिंकिंग की ज़रूरत है, तभी हम जो है, अगर हम अपनी फ्यूचर जनरेशन को सोच के चलेंगे, तो हम शायद जो सस्टेनेबल ट्रांसपोर्ट से आज जो डॉक्टर रविंदर ने बताया, तो डेफिनेटली बेनिफिट होंगे। तो मैं फाइनली रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा विवेक कुमार जी से, जो हमारे ट्रस्टी HCFI, आज हमारे व्यूअर्स को ये बताएं किस तरह से और दे कैन गो अहेड फर्दर। ओवर टू विवेक।
Thank you, Dr. Ravinder Kumar ji. You gave a beautiful presentation, very educative. I hope people who have viewed it today, they will share it with many others to watch what Dr. Ravinder Kumar ji had made so much of effort to put together. It is important for all of us to watch and educate ourselves, because at the end, it is affecting all of us. It is not only affecting some people walking on the roads today. Everyone is getting equally affected because of air pollution, etc. Hence, we have to all make a conscious effort to reduce it. It cannot be an effort made only by the government or only by an individual. We cannot blame the government. We have to be conscious, like Dr. Anil Kumar ji said very correctly, कि भाई, do we really need to travel? If we don't need to travel, we should not unnecessarily travel. And then we should choose what kind of travel mode we can choose. Like in Delhi metro, which is so interlinked and well linked. It is amazing. And I think metro from the airport itself, you can very easily reach the train station or you can reach home. And even to ISBT, where you have a large bus stand. So keeping all this in mind, we must go in for these kind of transport. And even if you have to buy a vehicle, it is best to choose either an electric vehicle or an hybrid vehicle. Because hybrid is, if you are going on long distances, it will make better sense than electric vehicle. Today in my house, I have electric vehicle and a hybrid vehicle. And I can tell you, there are many moments where my heart skips a beat when I look at how much of battery is left in an electric vehicle. But, and I'm sure, second, the problem is with the electric vehicle is that it takes 3-4 hours minimum to charge.
Yeah.
So unless there is not a fast charging station, we will face this problem. But definitely, I am a big advocate of electric vehicle. I am using it, and I try consciously to use electric vehicle as much as we can. Otherwise, we shift to hybrid vehicle. With this, I would like to thank the viewers and especially thank Dr. Ravinder Kumar for taking out his valuable time, and Dr. Anil Kumar for heading the environmental division of HCFI. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Namaskar.
Thank you very
Namaskar.
much.
Thank you.